I request everyone to please settle down. We'll be beginning with the proceedings. The world must learn to work together, or finally, it will not work at all. Good morning to one and all present here today. Respected authors, guest of honors, director sir, conference chairs, faculty members, staff, and dear students. Today, we all gather here for the conference on sustainability development. It's a one-of-a-kind paper presentation series where 190 insightful papers will be presented by our talented participants.
I assure all of you that as we conclude today, we'll go back as a more knowledgeable person, remembering the learnings that we picked up from here in hindsight. While 190 might seem like a large number, when the quality content starts coming in, time would just fly. Time flies, and we'll see that in few hours, good time fly faster. So without wasting any more time, let's begin. Now may I introduce Dr. Sunil Giri, Chairperson PGDM and Associate Professor Operations Management. Dr. Giri is BTech Electrical Engineering, MBA and PhD in Supply Chain Management. He has handled various positions like Director, School of Business, Member Academic Council, Chairman Board of Studies, Chairman MDP and Consulting at SMVD University. Sir has been associated with various universities in various capacities. He is having 14 years of rich experience in management training, consulting, and research. His research is in sustainable supply chain, QR logistics, humanitarian logistics, supply chain visibility, lean manufacturing, and quality management. Now may I request sir to address the concourse. Please, sir.
Before sir presents, we would like the volunteers to present the guest of honors with the flowers.
So I request Director Sir to present the flower bouquet to Shri Amitabh Sinha, Director Finance, JCI. Now I request Director Sir, it is symbolic only to those who are online present. So welcoming them with a flower bouquet because they are online. So we have with us the CA Commando, Chief Guest Jolly, Ajay Kumar Jolly, sir, as the Chief Guest. We have the Guest of Honors, CK Sikpadia, and we have with us the keynote speaker, Dr. Ashish. So welcome you, sir. Sir is welcoming everybody. So now I request the Professor Giri to present the flower bouquet to Director Sir, welcoming to the conference. Thank you, sir. Sir, yours.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. So, I welcome all. Good. First of all, let us start with that. Good morning to all the Punya Atmas who are here in this conference, present here in any form. So, to regards to the dignitaries who are at the dais and has joined online, our director, Professor Atmanan, our chief guest, Sri Ajay Kumar Jolly, our guest of honor, Sri Amitabh Sinha ji, and our guest of honor, Sri K.C. SDVP ji, who is the Deputy Commissioner, Development Commissioner, Ministry of Textiles, and Sri Ashish Agrawal, Professor IM Lucknow, is a professor in sustainability. So I welcome you all, sir, to this conference. Before we proceed with that, I would like to present certain data. So let us take that, and the concept is here is that if we talk about the earth in itself, so there is a phenomena of regeneration in the earth. And this phenomena of regeneration in earth, we take it that to what quantum of goods or various different elements which are necessary for a human life or life in the whole, earth, that generates for a 1 year. Now this is something which is in circular in nature. Every year this quantum is being generated. Now we are consuming it. Now let us see that what is the pattern of consumption and the, regeneration of the earth to that particular, all those assets which are required by life to survive on this particular earth. And when do we finish all those, regenerated assets of the earth? So to come up with that, if we take up the 1st January as a reference figure, and if the whole earth starts living the lifestyle of Qatar, so by 10th of February, all the resources that has been generated will be finished. And we will be consuming for the rest of the months from the reserve that the earth is having. And this scenario is not only with Qatar. If we move ahead, US, UAE, Canada, it finishes by 13th of March. If all the humans and living beings live the lifestyle of people of these countries. Australia, 23rd of March, Sweden, April 3rd. But one thing which is, and China also, I cannot leave, it's June 2nd. But there is one thing which is very, very unique about India. And we talk about Earth Overshoot Day, it is not applied to India. Because to live for the whole year, in the way the Indians live, it requires only 0.7%, 0.7 part of, or 0.7 part of the whole, resources which are generated in 1 year by the earth. So this is what is one scenario. We need to think upon this. But this is not that good sign. Apart from this, there were certain issues which we have seen based on this, the carbon emissions which we have. So as of now, we see that we contribute around 7.19% of the carbon emissions across the whole globe. So India is that, one. And some of the nations which we see that they are developed nations, they are, emitting it up to the only a point of 4.1 or 4.2, like that. So these are some, the two parts we see. On one hand, we don't have don't have an overshoot day, or we call it a country overshoot. So that India is, not a part of that. And you will be astonished to know that Bhutan is one of them who is having a Earth Overshoot Day, and which is in and around the May and April. And some of the Southeast Asian nation, if we take, they are also not coming up under those category where there is a, country overshoot day. So these are some of the scenarios we need to see. But overall, the globe we see, the overshoot day, Earth Overshoot Day, it has shifted from 28th of July to 27th of July this year. So in this case, what will happen? And these were the certain thoughts which we were having when we conceptualized this conference. So in order to sustain the lives on this particular earth, we
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Professor Dr. Atmanand, Director, MDI Murshidabad. Sir is a renowned economist, administrator, and academician, currently working as Director of MDI Murshidabad. He has also worked as Director Additional Charge of MDI Gurgaon. He was also the Independent Director of Central Bank of India, SAIL, and PTC India Limited. Dr. Atmanand's experience in teaching, research, and consultancy is of more than 34 years. He is one of the longest serving deans in India. He has taken many new initiatives like the launch of MDI School of Energy Management, Journal of IMT Ghaziabad, and established MDIM, to name a few. He has contributed to various national responsibilities as member of the State Finance Commission, Government of Bihar, Planning Commission, Government of India, as member of ATF, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India, member of Review Committee, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Dr. Atmanand has authored 16 books and published more than 100 research papers in referred national and international journals. Management of energy and environment, power, oil, gas, steel, financing infrastructure projects, project finance, economic and business environment, public policy and management. Professor Dr. Atmanand's vision statement is to have people around him who are thinkers and doers in one person. He spreads the policy of connect, nurture, and grow. I'd request Sir to please join us on the dais and address the concourse.
Thank you very much. Very good morning to all of you. How are you? Feeling great? That's it. Honorable Chief Guest, Commodore Ajay Kumar Jolly, Chairman and Managing Director, Jute Corporation of India, Guest of Honor, Sri Amitabh Sinha ji, Director Finance, Jute Corporation of India, and Sri K.C. Shak Dupi, Deputy Development Commissioner, Ministry of Textile, Government of India, keynote speakers, esteemed professors and researchers from across the world, colleagues from the industry and academia, scholars, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the third International Conference, Sustainable Development of Value Chain Perspective. The objective of this conference is to provide opportunity for academicians, researchers, industry experts, practitioners, professionals, social workers from different areas to engage in discussion based on issues related to sustainability development. The aim of current conference is to share the information and knowledge related to strategies for incorporating sustainable development principles and the ecosystem. The concept of sustainable development has received growing recognition and is need of the hour. For business enterprises, sustainable development means adopting business strategies and activities that meet the needs of the enterprise and its stakeholders today, while protecting, sustaining, and enhancing the human and natural resources that will be needed in the future. If sustainable development is to achieve its potential, development goals. And there are various sustainability goals which have been mentioned in that policy document of the Government of India, which has been released by NITI Aayog. Now, those goals pertain to different sectors and covers almost all sectors of the economy and the society. The basic theme of these sustainability goals of this policy document is not only to generate awareness in the minds of the young generation like you as to how and why it is important for us to protect the earth. Why it is important for all of us to realize that the fossil fuel resources and the natural resources are on the verge of closure. Why also it is very important for all the stakeholders of this country to think about green energy, green technology, green methodology, green buildings, and so on and so forth. And therefore, in the recent budget announcement and the budget which was presented by the Honorable Finance Minister in the Parliament, and I was listening to the budget speech of the Finance Minister, and later on it was explained in detail by the Honorable Prime Minister of India that we have to focus more on green economy. And therefore, the focus of the government policy through the budget announcements is also towards achieving the goals of green economy. The whole world is watching us because our growth rate is accelerating faster than the China's growth rate in terms of GDP and in terms of GVA also. In 2022-23, the growth rate as projected by IMF and the World Bank report and all other sources have confirmed that this year growth rate would be more than 6.1% higher than that of emerging economies as well as the Chinese economy, and which is still higher than US economy and European countries. And then in next year, 2024-25, it will touch 6.8%. Higher the growth rate, higher would be the investment. Higher is the investment opportunities, or if the investment is being accelerated in every sectors by the government, in infrastructure, in capital projects, in all kinds of the projects, and through the project investment, if the resources are being mobilized, including the stagnant resources like labor and most vibrant resources like land, along with the capital, the growth rate will further increase, and that is called the growth cycle. Today, I'm happy to tell you the pattern of the growth cycle of Indian economy is moving faster rate than ever achieved in the past. And it is in this perspective, therefore, the conferences like this, sustainable development perspective, a value chain perspective, is the right initiative in the right direction towards achieving the goals of the sustainable development of our country and also of the world. My dear students and my dear colleagues and the guests, I would like to draw your attention to our institution, MDI Murshidabad. MDI Murshidabad, being an academic institution, assumes its responsibility to promote, disseminate, and create a platform to support the movement of creating a sustainable business practices and inclusive sustainable development of society. And I congratulate my students for their immense contribution towards sustainability aspects of the business enterprises. And I urge all my students that after graduating from this institution, and wherever you will go and whatever jobs you join, but keep in mind the top priority is, and that is the sustainability. We strive to promote through the conference the essence of building economic, social, and environmental capital. We urge corporates and our students and all stakeholders to conserve, manage, and augment the natural resources and create sustainable livelihood sources. We appreciate the initiatives of organizations in our country which are involved in supporting the importance of sustainability and are helping in implementation of sustainability practices in our country. I appreciate the hard work made by the conference chairs, Dr. Sunil Giri, Dr. Pinku Paul, Dr. Paroma Mitra, Dr. Neeraj Singhal, for making this conference happen today. I also appreciate all my faculty colleagues and administrative staff members for their continuous support in designing this event successful. I also appreciate the hard work made by our students and their contribution in making this conference a great success. Thank you. On this occasion, it is my privilege and duty also to introduce you to MDI Murshidabad. Founded in 2014, MDIM is on a steady state growth path with an objective of nurturing competent and highly skilled young human capital comprising of professional managers, entrepreneurs, and leaders across various sectors. The state of art facilities cannot sustain the institution unless it is backed by cutting-edge technology and subjects. We have Bloomberg Finance Lab powered by 4 Bloomberg terminals. Courses like artificial intelligence and machine learning, business analytics, HR analytics, digital marketing, to name a few, which provide an edge against our competitors. My dear students and the guests, MDIM has made significant all-round progress in the recent past, and the year 2022-23 has been a memorable one. CRISIL, the premier rating agency, has graded MDIM as A star at the national level and A star at the state level for the year 2022-23. Association of Management Development Institutions in South Asia, MDISA, has conferred membership to MDIM for a period of 5 years, effective from April 2019. The business world, the B school ranking, has ranked MDIM among top B schools in the Eastern region. And it's a landmark achievement of MDIM. I am thrilled to share that we have made a significant achievement to establish ourselves as one of the top B schools, particularly in the Eastern region of India, and thereby receiving 37th rank by MBA Universe in its top 50 B schools ranking in India. This year, MDI Murshidabad has improved significantly, and it intends to utilize this year as a benchmark to continue growing and establishing its position as one of the premier B schools in the country. We are highly focused to create an ethical and knowledge-centric culture that values outstanding academic excellence, training, research, and consultancy. MDIM is on the path of becoming smart by setting goals which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And all this because of the faith shown by you all. MDIM is of the firm belief that knowledge shapes character, and character is the essence of our identity. Hence, MDIM believes in holistic education filled with co-curricular activities that go beyond academics. I always believe that success will definitely embrace people who are thinkers and doers in one person, and also follow the policy of CNG, connect, nurture, and grow. My dear students, when we talk about various aspects of the sustainability in this conference, be it economics, be it finance, the operations, the management, the general management, the technology, the natural resources, all these departments and activities by the researchers and the professors who have presented their papers in this conference are going to highlight one and only one thing, and that is maximization and minimization. Minimize the use of resources, minimize the cost of utilization of the scarce resources wherever you are in any organization, and improve the productivity per unit of the resource utilization in a factory, in any organization, in the society, in the nation, so that the productivity per unit of labor, productivity per unit of capital, productivity of the nation, that we call it national productivity, must accelerate higher than the growth rate. And therefore, this conference and all the research papers which have been presented in this conference will definitely talk about maximization and minimization and how to accelerate the productivity by achieving the sustainability goals. Last but not the least, we are aware of a scarcity of our resources, natural resources. We should also be aware of our responsibility and accountability towards the goals. It's not that first time we are talking and discussing and doing research about sustainability, development and sustainability goals. Long, long back, our rishis and the maharshis have already done the research, and they have already mentioned those things in our Vedas, Upanishad, in those scriptures, and I have gone through that. You know that The first word of Bhagavad Gita is what? Dharm Kshetre Kurukshetre. Dharma. And what is the last word of Srimad Bhagavad Gita? Mam. So I intuitively found that the essence of the entire chapters of Bhagavad Gita can be summarized in terms of two key words, and that is Mama Dharma. The meaning is that, are we aware of our responsibility? Dharma means responsibility towards ourselves. Are we aware of our responsibility towards the earth, to the nation, to the society, to the global environment, the ecosystem? If we are not aware of our Mama Dharma, and if we are not accountable to our responsibilities and the tasks assigned to us by the Mother Earth, then we are not contributing to the society. And therefore, and I still remember she has very well mentioned about Sangachadham Sambadadhvam while reciting that shloka that really inspired me further to make comment on this shloka, which is from Rigveda. Sangachadhvam Sambadadhvam Sambhovanan Srijanatam Deva Bhagam Upasate Samanivaya Kutihi Samana Hridaya Nibaha Samanamastu Om Mano Yathabaha Susahasati. Look at the last line, the last word, Susahasati. That means that let us work together. Let us think together. Let us move together. Let us think to achieve the goals together. Let us strive and work hard to achieve the goals wherever you are, whether it is profit maximization, whether it is cost minimization, whether it is utilization of the scarce resource, whether it is value maximization, whatever the goals, but together we can achieve the goal posts. And once we achieve the goal post together as a team, and the team is important, without any discrimination, who is what, and the goals once achieved, if profit is increasing, if dividends are increasing, if value is increasing, if productivity is rising, if the overall incomes are rising, and the per capita income is also increasing, then the time comes, this shloka draws our attention, the time comes that let us distribute it equitably among all the agents and among all the stakeholders. And if we do that, this shloka further explains, if we do that, Susahasati, the happiness, a new order, and the joy can be created in the society. And therefore, sustainability means generation of wealth. I agreed. I agree. But the generation of wealth at what cost? Does that generation of wealth maximize the happiness index of the citizen of this country? Will that generation of wealth will definitely make everyone to think and grow rich? That is therefore important for all of us to think about why happiness, in what way you can generate more happiness. Dr. Giri has rightly mentioned about a country that is called Bhutan. You know that the Bhutan, because of their natural endowments and the adequate natural resources, they give more importance to the happiness index, gross national happiness index, which is being calculated. And they give more importance to gross national happiness index rather than GDP, gross domestic product. And therefore, in India, if we connect the GNI, gross national happiness index, with gross domestic product, and also if the gross domestic product is well connected with the sustainability goals, I'm of the firm belief that one day India will become the leading country of the world in terms of sustainable economy and sustainable society. So the best of luck to all, and thank you. I declare the conference officially open.
Thank you, sir, for such motivating words. Now it's time to introduce our guest of honor for the day, Shri Amitava Sinha. Shri Amitava Sinha is the Director of Finance of Jute Corporation of India Limited, a CPSE under administrative control of Ministry of Textiles, Government of India. Shri Sinha is a BCom from the University of Calcutta, an associate member of the University of Cost Accountants of India. He started his career with MSTC Limited, a Schedule B Miniratna Category 1 PSU, engaged in the business of e-commerce and trade finance business. Shri Sinha was one of the core team members of the Western Regional Office of MSTC at Mumbai, overseeing the transformation of operations from manual to computerized system. Subsequently, he moved to the head office at Kolkata, where he led the development of e-commerce platform, forward and reverse auction. In the field of trading finance also, Shri Sinha made substantial contribution in implementation of revised model of business to mitigate credit risks. Prior to his present assignment, Shri Sinha worked as the Chief Finance Officer at Mahindra MSTC Recycling Private Limited at Mumbai. Shri Sinha believes in hard work, sincerity, work in diverse areas, interpersonal skills, and boundary management to create a great workplace. Sir, please address the gathering.
Good morning to you. Respected Professor Dr. Atmanand, Dr. Sunil Giri, Dr. Pinku Paul, and with online Commodore Ajay Kumar Joli, KC Sakdeepi, Dr. Neeraj Agrawal, my all delegates, faculty member, and dear students. And really, I'm feeling a bit nervous because this is the first time I'm coming to a business school, and that to my native district. I am from this district. But most of the time, interestingly, most of the time of my career, because last 2 companies where I have worked, they are working on sustainability. MSTC, which is earlier, it was a metal scrap trade corporation. It was incorporated as a importer of scrap, and they are basically, recycling of scrap business completely, always all iron and steel scrap. And now they have a platform, MSTC e-commerce, you might be knowing. Number one, one of the premier e-commerce industry in the country, especially for the raw material and prime material. From the inception, MSTC was dreaming for putting up a recycling plant, recycling of steel, iron and steel, how to make the natural scarce natural resources, protect the natural resources, how to make use of better use of secondary steel item, how to recycle it. They came into an agreement with Mahindra and Mahindra, that is one of the unit, and putting up a auto shredding plant in India. You might be knowing that key vehicle are getting scrapped anywhere in the roadside, Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, everywhere. And nowadays, everywhere you might be seeing that it is dumped on the roadside. This particular concept, that means it is an informal business. MSTC and Mahindra come into the picture that to formalize it, but this particular unorganized sector, to give a birth of this particular industry, that the auto shredding plant. And you might be, knowing that last year, Honorable Prime Minister has announced the draft vehicle scrapping policy. You know, this particular industry, that secondary is the recycling of steel. Can you imagine that it can use less 74% of less energy consumption as compared to the traditional integrated steel plant? What will improve? Improve your road, your passenger, the safety. It will generate number of employment. That Mahindra MSTC incorporated in 2016. I was the CFO of that particular company. And now they are having 22 units in India. The first unit was in Greater Noida because we thought that Delhi is the most polluted city in the country. And it happens to be. And that particular state, that, if you, that Greater Noida plant, it cannot cater. And it was the first factory in India that cater entire NCR zone in UP, as well as Punjab, Rajasthan, and other. And they have also set up by the time Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Indore, all cities. Almost now they are coming up another 14 that we need to be 36. This will generate a huge employment, huge generation. Improve the fuel efficiency. That is also fossil fuel. Increase the availability of recycled steel, which will be used as an automobile again. Like other countries, they are using 100 years old steel in their automobile. In India also, we have started that. That is a good news for India in a sustainable way. And that particular industry is coming up in a very big way. All big automobile sector, even the company like Hyundai, BMW, Renault, they are also interested in setting up a plant in India because number of vehicle is getting scrapped. It is end of life vehicle. It is huge number. And nowadays, if you can imagine that 40 million number of vehicle in India, that all are ELV, all has to go. I need not to tell you about basically the sustainability, what Sir has told, or Mr. Sunil Giri, and a number of speakers are there. We'll be listening from them. This is two companies, but how my company is associated with this particular sustainable way, I'll explain. Jute Corporation of India is set up in 1964. It is contributing from the inception. It was drawn up for the cultivation of jute farmer. cultivation of jute and helping the people when it is required. You might be knowing that at time that jute was one of the biggest industry, jute mills and jute was the biggest industry in West Bengal. JCI's mandate is that it has a pivotal role for encouraging the cultivation and growth of jute, which play a defining role in sustainable way for the society. Today, the entire world, when entire world is looking for the environment-friendly alternative replacement of plastic, which is creating an havoc together. In this given scenario, jute appears to be the most suitable and appropriate alternative of plastic. I feel proud to be associated with Jute Corporation of India, which propagate jute and to protect the environment and the interest of farmers who are involved in the jute cultivation. This is to apprise you about the main function of jute, JCI, and how it has been waging in silent war against the plastic menace by encouraging the contribution of jute, cultivation of jute. JCI is the nodal agency of the government of India for procuring of raw jute from the farmer and support price whenever the price of raw jute falls below the support price, minimum support price. This ensures the farmer at least to get the MSP at their hard-earned produce and not compelled to resorting for the distress sale. It is the presence of JCI which reposes the confidence in the farmer to continue to produce the jute. Actually, jute is basically in between crop. You know, it takes around, say, you can take it as a 4 months, around 4 months, 4.5 months time, complete. If there is any problem in the jute, the most of the farmer, because it is a cash crop again, so shift it to another. I mean, that competitive crop is maize. And it is basically depending, a lot of things are depending, the cultivation is depending on weather. The last year, basically the last, rainy season, I mean, you might be knowing that there is a shortage of rainfall in West Bengal. And there was a huge rainfall in North India and Assam. That has make a huge loss for the jute crop. One is that the huge rainfall, and in West Bengal, especially in the southern part, this where the Murshidabad, Malda, Murshidabad, Nadia, and 24 Parganas. Again, the Murshidabad, Nadia, and 24 Parganas produces 70% of the crop of India's production, complete. Jute rating is one of the important process for the jute, and for that particular purpose, water is very important. Because of shortage of rainfall, they could not get the rating, complete the norm that what rating water is required. That has contributed to reduction of jute quality. Although the productions is there, the quality has come down, the grading has come down. Now the farmer are in a deep soup rather because they thought that they will be getting a very good price, at least 5,500 or around 6,000 rupees per quintal. Now the crop quality is so grade is so bad because of the less water. The grade has come down in a 2x extent that there is no purchaser of scrap, purchaser of jute, or if it is going to the below MSP rate of 4,750 rupees. Here the JCI is the one of the organization who is working throughout the day and night for even in the 7 days throughout that purchase center and purchasing this raw jute. Whoever is coming, if anyone to see that, anyone to visit to our, that activity, how they are, because a lot of manual labor is required, because still the jute is certain thing that estimation of jute quality and the price still at hand and eye estimation is required. It is not it's most of the people, those who are working for us, they are experienced people and mostly technical, not always technical, mostly by the experience. If anyone can visit, wants to try to, because it is a complete process. We are collecting jute, grading the jute, assortment and grading the jute, making a bale and putting to the, again, sending to the mill. This is this process we are following. From the cultivation to the finished product, that making a bale. GCI is also how we are how to make, because urbanization and all that, what is happening, the land size is shrinking, or they are shifting to other agricultural product, which is in between, because even after this jute, they can come up with a paddy. This is the time actually we are, our people educating, even through the government projects, educating the farmer, those who are, because we are telling that particular project name is ICARE, Improve Cultivation and Rating Exercise. The sowing time of the jute seed that is in the March to April. Even depending upon the weather condition, these changes in other states. In India, at 6 states, although this West Bengal is the highest, then Bihar, 2% portion, and Assam, that Odisha, and very low grade of quality of jute, that is in Andhra Pradesh. These 6 states, and Meghalaya to some extent, and Tripura, although their production is so less that they could not. And another thing is this, West India, although there are number of demand, but we cannot produce the jute. So that is how the government of India and the Jute Corporation of India, their whole product, whole activity and whole focus is that how to make the productivity, how to increase the productivity through the certified suite, how to make the, manure, when to use the manure, and what percentage of manure and the chemical fertilizer. And when this particular rating, what is that sizes, the age of that particular plant, depending upon that rating, when the rating has to be made. The jute plant, they cut and put into the, again, on their field to get that almost 10 to 5 days, 5 to 10 days, so that their all leaves goes into the again field. That will create another manure for the next crop. That they put into the water and put some rating powder. We are taking some kind of a, because it is a bast fiber, and it water start that particular part of, if you, when you are spreading on that raw jute, it helps to decompose the particular fiber, and it will be easier because again there is a huge manual labor is involved. By this project, actually, what had happened that the rating time earlier it was almost a month, 25 to 1 month. Now it has come down to maximum 14 days in India. I'm talking about India only because these improved agronomic practices we are using actually, most probably the best in the world actually, as far as jute is concerned. We are also promoting the farmers' family by that way that they can come up with they can do some kind of a jute item, diversified product. Whatever is going to mill, that will go, and they might be using the shopping bag and all that. That is coming from Kolkata, that mill. But other than that, also there are certain items which can be hand woven. For carpets, mainly for the carpets in Europe and other countries, and even you have seen that the water bottle bag or jute bag. That also we are helping their family. That also, what is happening, this is all because in this particular area, this flood is one of the important things. To some extent, we are also marketing their product. Because their economic condition is not that good, they can go to the market, sending to the market. You can see our stall, actually, this will help you to understand some of the product. Most of them are hand woven, either hand woven. But still, I saw, although there is a interest is going in the young generation, but it was not because of the cost, because as compared to other material, it's this particular jute item a bit costly, But if you see the longevity of that particular product is much better than any other item. Jute is also used in roadside, the bank. Interesting, there are a number of companies, those who are in the construction, like National Highway, a construction company of road. They are also using this jute for this particular, for banking for bonding. And jute has a natural item, that is why it can go plant also. Growing plant is not an issue in the bank. It protects the soil erosion. We are trying to complete the cultivation, we are from the cultivation to the livelihood, economic livelihood of that particular value chain. So that is why when Mr. Sunil Giri, along with my colleague, earlier Mr. colleague Subrata Kumar Ray, came to our office to given us a proposal that can you give us a long-term partnership with MDI. I was very happy that we are also looking for that. If we can promote through this jute item, this will help this industry. Definitely help this industry and the artisan mainly. The mill is getting their price. Because most of them, you might be knowing that the government is procuring maximum jute bag for the food grains. And the jute mills are not able to supply whatever is required for the government of India. This particular, partnership will definitely help Jute Corporation of India, I think so. And I thank thank Mr. Sunil Giri and as well as Mr. Subrata Ray and Dr. Atmanand for helping, allowing us to be a part of this sustainable development seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Now I'd like to introduce our next guest of honor, Shri K.C. Shakdweep, Deputy Development Commissioner, Ministry of Textile, Government of India. Today, sir is joining us via Zoom. Shri K.C. Shakdweep is Deputy Commissioner in Office of Development and General Manager, Ministry of Textiles, Government of India. Before this, he was Chief Marketing Manager in Handicrafts and Handlooms Exports Corporation of India under the Ministry of Textiles. He has also worked as Quality Assurance Officer in Textiles Committee. He is a MA in Sociology, MBA IB, Silver Medalist from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi, and has over 30 years of experience in textile industry. I request sir to address the concourse. Over to you, sir.
I hope I am audible. In the era of artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, Instagram, I have a rather unusual, unorganized and interesting sector to talk about today to this distinguished gathering of academicians, students, management experts. Yes, you got it right. I will talk about handloom sector from the sustainability perspective. I'm going to be audacious enough to talk about the sustainability perspective of one of the largest unorganized economy activity, which constitutes an integral part of rural and semi-rural livelihood to the bunch of management students and future business leaders. Good morning, Dr. Atmanand sir, Shri Ajay Kumar Joli Sahab, Shri Amitav Sinha, Dr. Ashish Agrawal, Dr. Sunil Giri, Dr. Param Mitra, faculty members and friends. For the next few minutes, we will talk about handloom sector from the sustainability perspective and try to connect the dots between handloom weaving in socio-cultural and economic importance in Indian economy and the sustainable practices that are inherently imbibed in the handloom production processes. Before I start my talk, I will just like to share a sweet memory of MDI Murshidabad. Not many of you know that my daughter was one of the students of this institute and passed out in 2021 batch. Currently, she shifted base to USA and working as business analyst in one of the multinational corporations. It reminds me of the SDVP conference of 2019. I think that was the first edition of this conference when she, along with a fellow student, was awarded the best research paper award for the eco-friendly solar umbrella. The memory of her achievement is still fresh in my mind. By the way, she just WhatsApped me that she is also joining live to the college where she get the education from USA currently. The question that why to talk about handloom sector to the management, students and experts? What is the utility of this sector for the future business leaders, for the students? Friends, the sector has shown some renewed interest by innovators. Recently, we organized Handloom Grand Challenge, startup through Startup India. Many e-commerce giants, top designers, business groups are entering into the sector. That shows the renewed vibrancy in the sector. The sector engages almost 35 lakhs handloom workers, mainly in the rural and semi-rural areas. Handloom weaving consists of two parts, handloom and weaving. Handloom, as you know, is anything which is not power loom. It is driven, the process is driven by passion, not by the power. It's driven by the passion. A process which may be slower than power loom, but has got more character. Anything other than power loom. Now comes the weaving. What is the weaving? Weaving is simply based on mathematical formula of placements. Placements is a nice word which sounds very beautiful for all the youngsters waiting for the placement season. But I'm talking about the placement of warp and weft at 90 degrees. I'm also fully aware about the importance of placement from my IIFT days, and this weaving process has so many sustainable practices that we will talk about for a few more minutes. What is the spectrum of this handloom sector? From the Pashmina of Kashmir, Mekhla Chador of Assam, beautiful Banarsi brocade, Patan Patola, Kanjivaram saris. Handloom sector has a wide spectrum, unique views, different reasons. Sustainability is not about protecting our environment, but ensuring that our communities and traditional industries continues to thrive. Handloom is prime example of sustainability. 95% of world's handwoven fabrics are found in India. Why handloom sector is sustainable? It is less capital intensive. It uses minimum power. Most of the handloom machines are operated manually. It's eco-friendly. The production size is small, so over-consumerism is not there. Its openness to innovation, and it is adaptable to the new market requirements. It's a natural productive asset. The skills that are transferred from one generation to another generations. Weavers are mainly from vulnerable and weaker sections of the society who weave for their household needs, and the rest is sold in the market. Handloom sector can meet every need ranging from exquisite fabrics, which takes months to weave, to popular items of mass productions for daily use. Sustainability and handlooms are related because there are sustainable options. Handloom is considered as one of the most sustainable options in the textile industry. They use manual power to weave fabric, lower environmental impact compared to industrial textile production. They use less energy, generate less waste, and often made with natural and biodegradable fibers. And they preserve the traditional and cultural heritage of India. What are the challenges that are being faced by this particular industry right now? The low productivity, because I'm not able to compete with the mass power of products. That's a challenge, and that's the beauty of the handloom. That is the beauty, that they are open to small production size. They can experiment with many more designs. Government of India is also supporting the sector through various policy measures, the flagship schemes of National Handloom Development Program, the Raw Material Supply Scheme. There is end-to-end intervention from the Government of India side. We have pre-loom support, which provides before the loom. We provide the raw material at the subsidized rates. we provide the accessories and equipments for handlooms. On loom, we provide them solar lights, skill trainings, design development trainings through NIFT, that is the Institute of Design under the Ministry of Textile. Then post-loom support is through participation support in the domestic and international markets. Besides this, there are welfare measures, which includes insurance, pension to the handloom awardee weavers. So government is committed to development of the handloom sector. Handloom sector has been a silent contributor. The traditional ancient industry addresses many of the 17 sustainable development goals. Some of the goals that I will like to highlight here, the goal number 5 of sustainable development goals, that is gender equality. The goal number 8, decent work and economic growth. Goal number 10, the reduced inequalities. And the goal number 13, climate action. So it's one industry which not only serves the traditions, cultures, livelihood in the rural and semi-rural areas, but in practice, they have the sustainability imbibed. When we talk about gender equality, 70% of the handloom workers consist of women. Women contribute almost every important part in the handloom industry, handloom production, just as the spinning, weaving, and dyeing of the cloth. They play an important role in marketing and selling of the handloom products, both at local and national level. Women weavers often work from their home, allowing them to balance their household responsibilities along with the handloom weaving and the handloom activities that they perform. It's a household activity mainly. However, despite the strong contribution and presence of women in the handloom sector, women weavers still face some challenges like low wages, limited access to credit, and lack of market access. We have number of schemes to support and encourage women in the handloom weaving. When we talk about sustainable development, goal number 10 of reduced inequalities, it is a sector which mainly consists of vulnerable societies, of the vulnerable sections of the society. Out of 35 lakh handloom workers, we have 13% scheduled caste, 17% scheduled tribes, and 36% OBC. Thus, handloom and khadi act as a tool for social change by breaking the caste barriers and bringing people from different backgrounds on the same platform and giving them a dignified way of life. The climate action, handloom and handloom products encourages sustainable fashion and inspire conscious consumerism. They provide an eco-conscious alternative to machine-made and mass-manufactured fast fashion products. Handlooms are more durable, last longer, and they are passed on generations to generations. So the over-consumerism, the overuse of the fabric, which generates a lot of waste and affect environment badly, is limited in handloom sector. What are the main initiatives that we are taking for the promotion of handloom? Handloom market scheme, which is Government of India scheme to differentiate between handloom and powerloom. Any product that you buy, if it is a handloom mark, then it authenticates that it's a genuine handloom. Another important scheme is India Handloom Brand, which is directly about the sustainable production, because India Handloom Brand, which was launched by Honorable Prime Minister in 2015, it talks about zero defect in the quality and zero effect on the environment. That means it's a lab tested certified product where the dyes and chemicals that are used during the process production are not carcinogenic, not harmful to the environment. Another thing, Geographical Indication Acts, we have 72 handloom products and 6 logos which are registered as GI products. India has approximately 400 GI marks, out of which approximately 200 are in handloom and handicraft sector alone. Indian handloom product needs to be branded and marketed more comprehensively. However, this cannot be achieved by organizations working in isolation. Collaboration and partnerships are key to driving sustainable change through value chain. Sustainability is no longer a niche concern, but a critical factor in business processes and business successes. Companies that prioritize sustainability are not doing the right thing for the planet, but they are also creating a long-term value for their stakeholders. The importance of sustainability cannot be overstated. It's not just about reducing waste and conserving resources, but also creating a future that is equitable, inclusive, and economically viable. It is about making choices today that we ensure a healthy and vibrant world for the generations to come. The discussions and presentations at this conference will provide valuable insights into how organizations can integrate sustainability into their value chain, from sourcing to production to distribution. By taking a holistic approach, we can not only minimize our impact, but also enhance our economic performance and create value for all stakeholders. I'm confident that this gathering of experts from around the world will lead to new ideas and innovative solutions that will help us to move closer to a sustainable future. Let us use this conference as a catalyst for change. Let us work together to create a future that is sustainable and just for all. A small poem in the end. The gentle hum of handloom, a craft so fine, a tradition so old, its beauty told, its story untold. Each strand of thread woven with care, the fabric so strong beyond compare. The fabric speaks of the fabric speaks of rich history, of cultures and traditions, a tapestry. For in every stitch, there lies a tale of timeless craft that will never fail. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. The next guest of the day is Comrade Ajay Kumar Jolly, retired Indian Navy, Chairman and Managing Director, Jute Corporation of India. Commodore Ajay commissioned into Indian Navy in the year 1988. During his years of naval experience, he was the commanding officer of Indian naval ships from 2003 to 2007. He also served as the director of National Institute of Hydrography from 2009 to 2013, and also was the principal director, operations at National Hydrographic Office, Dehradun. He has completed his postgraduate degree from Madras University and has an executive MBA from IIM Lucknow, Noida campus. Sir is also a fellow of the Institution of Surveyors. Sir has been awarded by the President of India for Operations Vijay. He has also received the Jewel of India Award by the Indian Solidarity Council and commendation by the Chief of Naval Staff. Sir has joined us virtually today, and may I request him to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Suprabhat, Shubh Shakal. Can you all hear me very clearly? Okay, I take it as yes. So thank you so much for the kind introduction. but one small correction is about executive MBA. Actually, I have not done an executive MBA from IIM. I had done a smaller course, 7 months course. This was like a resettlement course before it happened. So thank you once again. And I'm very happy to be here in this beautiful morning. Professor Atmanand, Director MDIM, Sri K.C. Shakdevi, Deputy Development Commissioner, Ministry of Textiles, Dr. Sunil Giri, Conference Chair, Shri Amitava Sinha, Director Finance, Youth Corporation of India, Dr. Ashish Agrawal, Professor Sustainability, Dr. Pinku Paul, Delegate, scholars, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I must thank the organizers for inviting me here. I feel honored to be a part of this conference. I must also congratulate the organizers for selecting this topic, which is so very important, this theme. It is so important in the economy of the modern world, and all the more relevant in the post-COVID and scenario wherein we also have a war going on in Ukraine. So the theme states, sustainable development, a value chain perspective. I am told that you had 2 previous conferences in 2018 and 2019 on the same theme. I think it is wonderful. The importance that you're giving to this particular theme is great. And this is what is required. So, but one small disclaimer here, I must confess that I do not have any in-depth academic knowledge on the subject. However, in the next 15 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, I would like to touch upon some of the relevant and visible aspects of this theme in the contemporary world, especially from the India's perspective and the India's prospect. And later, a little about modernization drive in the raw jute value chain in India. So let me begin by saying our industries drive growth, and we run our industries. The way we run our industry have a lot to do with the aspect of sustainability. I think that a value chain perspective is a very useful framework for understanding the various activities involved in creating and delivering goods and services in a sustainable manner. As we all have been observing in the recent times, the geopolitical factor is turning out to be very important for the sustainable value chain. So, looking at the prevalent geopolitical scenario, I dare say that a lot has changed after the tariff wars, after COVID-19, and with this ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. The world has come a long way in terms of important global value chain, and the global governments and companies have learned a lot. And now, while the world is seeing strong inflationary and recessionary trends, sustainable development has become very critical in today's global environment. It is essentially about ensuring economic and social growth, while at the same time protecting and preserving our natural environment. As we all know, globalization had brought in a remarkable change to the various important value chains, making them truly global. For example, the aeroplane industry, where the parts are produced all over the world and they're brought in them. The various upstream and downstream elements got located across the geography and across the national boundary, and even across continents. It did not matter where. Various elements of the chain were to be situated as long as it could deliver. It did not matter where they were situated, as long as they could deliver quality goods at competitive cost and price. The current geopolitical aspects are making them relocate and reorient, as we all know. As we also know that a few unscrupulous host countries do play around with tariff barriers or currency exchange rate, or even employ a dumping tactic, etc., to create monopolies in global supply chains. Whether it is about sourcing of material, components, or supplies of finished goods. We must realize that the global value chains are poised for a remarkable transformation. So, the globalization has resulted in dependence on central hubs of value chains in the past. When the globalization happened, there was a big, very big time reliance on these value chains. There was a comfort level. A country in the East had become the factory of the world. It had leveraged wages to produce goods at low cost and supplied them at lower prices by manipulating the currency exchange rate. You know which country I'm referring to. Now the disruption has happened due to geopolitics of tariff war, COVID, and Ukraine. Hence, the process of relocating has started. Here, the important thing is, and I want to emphasize and underline that the choice of new location would depend on the scope of sustainability in that new host country to a large extent. Very naturally, when you are setting up a new business these days, the business owners are very sensitive to this. When they go to a country, what is the feasibility and scope that the businesses can be set up in a very sustainable manner in those countries. So in addition, it would be also the ease of doing business that would predicate the relocation and realignment of the value chain. And there's sustainability in the new alignment. So the manufacturing shifting to a country would depend on several factors, like availability of skilled manpower, raw materials and resources, ease of obtaining government approval, finances, infrastructure, cost of logistics, political stability, safety of predictable government policy, regimes, taxes, and levies, and also the access to market. All these are very important for any supply chain. We all know that. But I would like to elaborate a bit on the environmental aspect and the strides India is taking to improve in this direction. I'm saying this from the point of view of attracting those shifting value chains to India. As you know, the Cabinet of Ministers had approved India's updated nationally determined contribution, NDC, to be communicated to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, Triple C. This approval translates our announcement of Panchamrit at COP26 into enhanced climate targets. So India now stands committed to a reduced emission intensity of its GDP by 45% by the year 2030. This is going to be a big leap towards achieving India's long-term goal of reaching net zero by 2030. The government is doing a lot to achieve these targets. So a very important and heartening fact is that India is already ahead of these targets. We are doing very well. For example, let's take a look at the power sector. India is at the cusp of making revolutionary energy transformation with nearly 40% of electrical power already coming from renewable resources. The solar PV capacity has multiplied 17 times in the last 7 years. This is really amazing. These are some big changes and leaps that our country is taking. So it's really, really happening very fast on ground, and not just for power sector alone, but there are other environmental aspects also. Time here is less. We cannot really talk about everything. But I would like to propose here that it is the civilizational strength of India that made the Indian economy that had a major share of world GDP for centuries. And I'm not going to elaborate on this. This would be a whole subject in itself. But as Shri Atmananji had in the beginning mentioned about Rig Veda, Shlok, Sangachadvam, Sangadadyam. This is the spirit of India. It is about doing things together, taking care of others, having consideration for others, having consideration for environment, and being together rather than being individualistic. So my second proposition here is that because of the intrinsic nature of culture, Indians are nature worshipper at heart. Therefore, it would not be difficult for India to implement measures towards the improvement of natural environment, such as carbon pricing, for example. So we will embrace them very readily. Indians will do that. My third proposition is that in the case of our country, the internal scope for growth is huge. And to my mind, that is one of the governing reasons that our economy is showing strength in the times of global recession, because we are not export dependent to that extent. We have internal demand. We have internal scope for development. Apart from this, There are several favorable factors such as at the moment that we are poised at. We have robust banking sector. We have robust digital public infrastructure. This is very important because in this, India is ahead of the rest of the world, undoubtedly, and everybody is looking at that. Physical infrastructure is becoming world-class very fast. Skilled and young demography, very stable political system, etc., etc. A list goes on, but I'll stop here. All we need to do is drive the virtuous cycle of fiscal spending, emphasis on capital investment, which will make us build infrastructure, which will also, we got to improve the credit, which will spur investment. And this is happening now because of the robust banking. And this will stimulate production and increase consumption, which again drives the growth, which again, with increased growth, we can have more investment, higher fiscal spending, and the cycle continues. So this is the virtuous cycle which we need to drive. Our country needs to drive. That's exactly what the country seems to be doing. So these are very exciting times. Without any doubt, India is becoming a very attractive destination for hosting the modern, sustainable value chain. However, we need to make the existing supply chains also increasingly more efficient and productive. I'm talking about the supply chains which already exist in our country. So this involves productivity of the workforce through skill development, as well as productivity through IT, logistics, and physical infrastructure. Here, let us shift our focus a little to Jute, where I come from, Jute Corporation of India. We are a government agency for conducting MSP operations primarily, but we also help farmer in the agronomic practices. We go to them and we, right from the seed, from agronomic practices and retting powder, etc. We do the whole range of activities which has been described by our Director of Finance to you. And we are on the verge of modernizing the supply chain of produce. And here I would like to talk about produce. In this context, it would be, I would like to bring out your focus towards the raw jute industry, the whole of jute industry, but specifically to the raw jute industry. Being in Murshidabad, you would be well aware that this is the area which is probably the largest producer of raw jute in the country and in the whole world. So jute industry as a whole is worth about 15,000 crore rupees, with an export volume of about 4.5 thousand crore. So let us take a look at the supply chain of raw jute. Talking about raw jute, which basically comes from farmers, it depends on, we will talk about the supply chain a little later, but I would say that the jute is not just by itself. I mean, jute is definitely a sustainable material, but a lot of other industries, sustainability depends on jute, especially for packaging, floor covering, etc. Therefore, jute becomes very important. Everybody knows that jute is easily biodegradable. It also is more suited for packaging food grain. We also have a suitable legislation in place that covers mandatory packaging of food grain in the jute sector. The environmental friendly nature of jute makes it attractive worldwide, since it is biodegradable and at the same time very beneficial to the soil. Jute helps environment by sequestering carbon into the soil, as well as to release a sizable amount of oxygen. Any plant does that. We all know any plant does that. But in case of jute, the volumes are massive, because as you know, it is called patsan or part, which means a very voluminous crop. And yet, unfortunately, the industry has been a bit shaky because of the unorganized nature of the raw jute supply chain. So, and there are two very important areas in this which need attention. The errors in estimation of overall production level. These have created problems. The lack of authentic information about jute production and the market makes it very vulnerable to rumors, and therefore price fluctuations happen. This also gives rise to hoarding and black market. This is one. The second one is another weakness of jute industry is the opaqueness of the market. Not much of authentic information is available readily. So one is the estimation of the total production in the country, productivity, and the other one is the opaqueness of the market. So in order to overcome these shortcomings, JCI has taken steps to deploy high-tech solutions. Now, this is very interesting because this is what we are looking at now in the coming year itself. First of these is crop surveillance and monitoring through use of ground data in geospatial environment. We have been doing it on a pilot scale in collaboration with NRSC, but now a full-fledged project has been configured and it starts now from this year. This is going to transform the way we monitor and estimate raw jute production. Benefits are plenty. And this is also going to give us a dashboard wherein we can, which will facilitate the crop monitoring surveillance and providing assistance regarding pest control, fertilizers, agronomic, and weather information, etc. We'll be able to reach help and assistance wherever required. This will also help in estimation of the area covered by this crop production estimation, estimation of productivity, estimation of fiber quality, and even crop insurance. The second thing that I talked about was the opaqueness of the jute market, raw jute market. And for that, we are bringing in blockchain technology like based platform. So these are the high-tech solutions that we are doing in the field of jute, which is quite a low-tech kind of industry. So in the blockchain technology will help tracking of the jute market transactions. It will bring a tremendous amount of benefits to all stakeholders. For example, market information exchange about price and quality and quantity will be readily available with all the stakeholders. It will reduce speculation and hoarding. It will also enable timely payments of prices to the traders and farmers. This is a big problem at present. This will ensure very stable supply chain. And as we know, whenever there is a very stable supply chain of raw material and industry starts to thrive, because the stakeholders become very confident against price fluctuations. You don't have to worry, and they are very confident about investing more. And even farmers would be confident about investing more if they are quite confident about the price that they're going to get. Last but not the least, availability of data helps in policy decisions by the government. So stability of supply chain of raw jute thus achieved is expected to have great value. Goes without saying, it has the potential to transform the jute industry. It will be a game changer. So with this, I have completed my talk. I would like to express best wishes for the conduct of a wonderful conference. I hope and wish that a lot of interest and energy is going to be generated and thoughts are exchanged in a free and frank manner. With this, I would like to hand over the podium to the organizer. Thank you.
I'll be starting again. Dr. Ashish Agarwal, Professor, IIM Lucknow Noida campus. Professor Agarwal is the chairman of MBA program in Sustainable Development at the Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. He has been working on issues related to the sustainable management for more than 15 years. During this period, he has worked with academic and policy research organizations like University of Manchester, IIED, London, and the Energy and Resource Institute. He has successfully completed several research projects sponsored by the World Bank, UNFF, JICA, and Government of India and various state governments. He has advised central and various state governments on natural resources and climate changes issues in India. He is contributing author on the 5th assessment report of Intergovernmental Panel on the Climate Change, that is IPCC. Professor Agarwal has a PhD from University of Manchester and an MPhil from the University of Cambridge. Now I'd like to request Sir to please address the concourse. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so very much for the nice introduction. A very good morning and warm namaskar to all of you. I'm really honored to be part of this very esteemed panel. And let me thank at the very start the management of MDIM, Professor Atmananji, our chief guest today, Commodore Jolie, guest of honor, Mr. SDVP, Mr. Sinha, and conference organizers, Dr. Giri, Dr. Paul, and of course, Dr. Neeraj Singhal, who has been very kind to invite me on this one. So my title of my talk, which for next 20-25 minutes, I'll make a very small presentation. And title of my presentation is Sustainability as a Competitive Advantage for Businesses in 21st Century. And before I get started, and I do have a small presentation, like generally professors are very fond of presentations. So I'm also, so I couldn't restrain myself from making one, though very small one. But yes, sustainability, I mean, I've been working in this domain in consulting, teaching, research, and this word, although has been there and this concept has been there in policy and in concept for almost more than 40 years. And there have been a lot of government policies at global level, at national level, but there has been a very kind of an overwhelming sense that businesses have come to the party quite late. And probably their actions have not been matched quite often with the pronouncements which they have been making. So that has been a generic sense. And to large extent, there is somewhat truth in that. And this morning I was going through the newspaper and I just, one item caught my eye. Adani Dow Jones Sustainability Index has dropped Adani Enterprises companies from its index, and which has impacted its ratings and further, and credibility and its impact on financial performance and everything. So we have come to a stage wherein sustainability, just for specifically from a business perspective, which used to be a nice thing to say in the conferences, nice thing with CEOs when they go to World Economic Forums and United Nations meetings, nice thing to say, to, I would argue, survival strategy today, a basic, essential survival and thriving strategy. So this has been an observation, not mine, but globally now it is by the practitioners and academicians. They argue that the companies and the businesses which used to compete on price, quality, quality, now the companies which are doing good on sustainability are the ones which are going to thrive in 21st century. So in a sense, sustainable businesses will be the businesses which are going to thrive in 21st century. And lot is happening in policy and action, which really encourages us. And so let me start my presentation by saying a few policy and action points, what is happening actually on ground. And I'm very, very enthused in last 5 to 7 years in India specifically, a lot of actions have been taken, which has been very, very encouraging. And as has been mentioned in the introductory remarks, I chair a MBA program in sustainable management at IIM Lucknow, which has been doing wonderfully well in last in every which indicators. So which also is an indicator that how industry is responding to our students and everything. So let me start with a small presentation and make an argument this morning that sustainability is the latest, or is one of the strategies which is already providing competitive advantage to the companies and businesses. Let me share my screen. I hope I am audible enough and my presentation is also visible. Is it okay?
Yes, Professor Ashish, it's audible
Okay.
and visible.
Thank you so very much. So starting from India, what is happening? In India, now as we speak today, top 1,000 companies listed on Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, it's mandatory for them to report on their sustainability performance every year to SEBI. And let me also say here, when I say sustainability, in business parlance, I mean, which is a common understanding, is a triple bottom line. The companies or the businesses which not only look at their financial bottom line, but also look at their social and environmental bottom lines, or we call triple Ps, people, planet, and profits. So the companies which has this 3D lens of looking at their performance, these businesses we refer to as sustainable businesses, especially from this presentation perspective. And slowly, starting from 2012, when top 100 companies were mandated to report their performance, now we are top 1,000 companies are required, and slowly it would be for all the listed companies in India, mandatory, and then listed and unlisted. That is the direction which we are moving on to. And all of us also know one very small set of sustainability, CSR, a social arm. It has been mandatory, again, a unique kind of experiment expenditure-wise from 2014. Then there have been a lot of push because of sustainability concerns on businesses. So that is why we see there is so much focus on electric vehicles, subsidies and incentives. In India, we have policies, FAME 1, faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicle 1, 2, where a lot of incentives and subsidies are being provided to move to electric vehicle industry. Then there are a lot of other, because of sustainability concerns, resource efficiency guideline. We hear a lot of talk from Niti Aayog and European Union on circular economy. Many big groups like Tata Groups, Mahindra and Mahindra, a lot of groups have now their own circular economy policies. And in last couple of years in India, we've been hearing quite a lot on ESG, environment, social, and governance, specifically in the financial sectors, screening of the businesses on ESG criteria. A lot of companies from Wipro, Infosys, ITC, they have ESG dashboards now, right? And Bombay Stock Exchange has initiated indices which not only look at your financial performance, but which also integrate other sustainability, social and environmental performance, take into account, like Standard & Poor Carbonex, S&P Greenex, so on and so forth. And these are, I'm mentioning only some of the policy initiatives which are happening in India, which give us a sense where government of India is nudging the businesses to move in which direction, right? Apart from the policies on these issues, there have been a lot is happening because of sustainability concerns. $1 trillion worth of markets or businesses have already started. For example, clean tech, for example, electric vehicles. Ola is trying to have, is already having one of the largest EV manufacturing factory in India, and the EV market is growing like anything. So it was estimated 5 billion in 2020, and which is expected to rise roughly around 45 to 50 billion by 2026 in India. In 2 days, just e-scooters, more than 1,000 crores, Ola Electric just booked. So this is the size, and all of this is happening because of climate change, because of sustainability concerns. And let me also make one statement here that when we say sustainability, green is not equivalent to sustainability until and unless, from my perspective, it follows also social, ethical, and economic justice principles. Only green does not mean electric. So we were talking about again emphasizing on triple bottom line businesses. There have been word over a push in the businesses to move toward renewable energy, clean tech sectors. Trillions of dollars of work are being invested, and already there are big businesses in India. For example, solar, we stand at 50 gigawatt. Global clean energy investment is in 22 was 1.5 trillion. India, it was roughly 15 billion for the same period. So it's not a hollow talk any longer. A lot is happening in the policies as well as in the action on the ground. We've been hearing quite a lot on ESG parameters, ESG markets. So all the banks in India, we are training a couple of them, want to have ESG teams. So financial institutions, before loaning to the any new businesses, they want to screen them onto ESG criteria, environment, social, and governance criteria. So word over this movement has taken off in last 7-8 years. In India, in the last 2 years, it has been really sort of taken up well. So size in India of ESG funds have grown from roughly 2,000 crores to 12,000 crores in up till March, and it's growing exponentially everywhere. All the banks are trying to have their ESG teams in place, and they are building onto this. And a lot of companies, every company is any major companies reporting their climate performance, having net zero targets, water footprint. And this is not only regulatory pressure. Of course, a major role comes from the regulatory pressures, but also this is a requirement of the day. There are trade barriers which do not allow you to trade with the geographies. For example, EU has signed a Green Deal. So any company which does not do good on ESG criteria cannot do business in EU. It's a simple survival tactic. So companies have to. And you see resource efficient product markets, you see star ratings, air conditioners, refrigerator. In India, just to give you an idea, annual market just for energy efficient fans is 12,000 crores in India. So markets has really, apart from all these incentives, policy nudges, there have been also it's been a carrot and stick policy. There have been big sticks also, disincentives for unsustainable behavior. So for example, Volkswagen was fined 500 crore because of its Dieselgate issue. It installed some cheat device in diesel engine, which has a major issue. And there were Vedanta company, Sterlite Copper plant in Tamil Nadu, it was closed down, leading to thousands of crores of losses for the company because of course, social issues, livelihood issues, and environmental implications. So it's both incentives and disincentives which are coming from policies and external environment, which are pushing businesses, which are nudging businesses to have a sustainable behavior, right? Now, how businesses have responded. So businesses have actually at global level more so, and in India also, all the big companies have in last, especially 5 to 7 years, have responded quite well. So all the leading companies, so for example, GE has an eco-imagination program where they worked on energy efficient jet engines, which not only increase their businesses, but also reduce their footprints. So having more efficient, resource efficient products and services, that is a requirement of the customer today. And so another big major myth about sustainability that it is a cost center. So it's a big myth. So sustainability can be, I have consulted many companies. So it can be profitable from the day one. Another major revolution which has happened in sustainability in businesses is what you call supply chain codes or supplier code of conduct. All the major corporations have what you supplier code of conducts, which ensure that their value chain or their supply chain follows the triple bottom line code of conduct. So, for example, IKEA's supplier code of conduct is called IWay, where all their value chain, whether they are procuring material from Vietnam, India, Bangladesh, everyone, all the MSMEs or big companies have to follow the triple bottom line standard, which has not only made the big corporations sustainable, but have also made the entire value chain. That has been a major revolution which has happened in last decade. The entire value chains are being made sustainable through these supplier code of conducts. Similarly, Unilever's is called Sustainable Living Plan. Their strategy, their corporate strategy, and they also Schneider, ITC, Wipro, Infosys, all major companies you name, global or Indian, have supplier code of conducts, which ensure triple bottom line performance from their small vendor to all big suppliers. Okay, so Unilever, for example, has these major goals, corporate goals, improving health and well-being, reducing environmental impact, enhancing livelihoods, so on and so forth. Responsible sourcing policy, which we have already talked about. And and companies these days have to, as they are submitting their sustainability report to SEBI every year, which is called BRSR report, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. They have to report their year-by-year performance to SEBI every year, and to make it transparently available to all the stakeholders, how they are doing on carbon, on water, on raw material consumption, and overall employee EHS, employee gender issues, and various other economic justice, and a lot of other ethics, anti-corruption policy, so on and so forth. So coming to my final bit of my presentation and my argument, how does sustainability, it's already providing the competitive advantage to the companies. Sustainability it reduces the costs. It encourages the resource efficient behavior. It encourages the businesses to be more efficient on energy, fuel, water, and there is plenty of data available from Indian companies to global companies, wherein companies have saved a lot of money and not only saved a lot of money, but also have had a lighter resource footprint. Just one example, Walmart is saving 200 million per year by reducing packaging and managing, reorganizing their logistics. So sustainability encourages or induces reduction in cost. So any MSME to big corporation, sustainability can be profitable from day one. That's my argument number one. Second, sustainability and innovation go hand in hand. Once you try to be sustainable, you have to bring in efficiency in your processes, in your products. So companies which are giving whether hybrid engines to any more efficient steel production. So you have to be more efficient. So which essentially means you have to innovate new technologies and new processes, and you have to bring down the cost, better products, better services. So I call sustainability and innovation two sides of the same coin. And all the companies which you will find are doing good on sustainability are very, very innovative company. You look in social sector, Arvind Eye Care, Narayan Hridayalaya kind of examples. In companies, Toyotas, IBMs, to Tata Motors. So a lot of so it induces, second argument being that it leads to creating differentiation and innovation. Because it's not only about being resource efficient and green, but it also it also encourages to address social challenges. So companies would like to expand their markets or provide services where it has already not reached, to look at, say, for example, bottom of pyramids. So a lot of companies are making good businesses, looking at bottom of pyramid market, which earlier was not considered very, very, very lucrative. But many major companies, premium companies these days are making money from microfinance movement to a lot of companies. Hindustan Levers, 1 rupee, 2 rupees shampoo sachet, to French company Danone, which used to be a premium dairy company, selling in Bangladesh to India, to a lot of so it encourages you to expand to your market, to the people who does not have access to your products. That is my third argument. Fourth is, if you are a good sustainable company, your brand anyway goes up. It enhances your public image. It enhances your reputation. There is a very wonderful analysis. One can easily go on Dow Jones Sustainability Index website and check the companies which are more sustainable. It's directly correlated to their financial performance also. So it's not only just brand, but also brand value, but it also means good financial performance. It minimizes the impact of future regulations. It makes you regulation ready. So if you are trying to be more resource efficient, less polluting, you are making yourself ready. You can beat your competition. So for example, diesel companies which has not prepared for the market and new regulations, they face extinction. Fossil fuel industry are facing a lot of challenges, right? So it makes you ready for the regulations. And of course, there have been a lot of studies which also suggest good companies, ethical companies, good triple bottom line companies also has better employee loyalty and retention. So with all these factors, the companies, I make an argument, very humble argument in front of all of you. The companies which are good on triple bottom line, on all people, planet, and profits, on all three fronts, rather than just looking at shareholders or profits or financial bottom lines, are the ones who are going to outcompete their competitors in 21st century. and companies or businesses which are more sustainable, they are doing better in the markets, all other factors being equal, which in competitors these days, price and quality are becoming almost very, very close. So sustainability is the differentiator. So thank you so very much. And I stop here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insightful presentation. Now I'd like to request Director Sir to please felicitate our guest of honors, Shri Amitav Sinha, and those of our joining online. Sir, as a symbolic gesture to the speakers who are joining us online. Yes, sir. Sir, I'd like to unmute yourselves. Now I would request Dr. Sunil Giri sir to felicitate our directors.
Now may I request Dr. Pinku Paul, Conference Chair, for the vote of thanks.
So a very good afternoon to all. So respected dignitaries on the dais, respected online guests, our chief guest, and all the guest of honors and keynote speaker. So let me take this opportunity to place a formal vote of thanks on the closure of the inaugural ceremony. So I would first like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Shri Commando Ajay Kumar Jolly, sir, for providing an insightful speech on economic development, growth, and sustainable development goal achievement, how the industries can proceed. So thank you, sir, for your wonderful, insightful speech. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to express my gratitude to our guest of honor, Shri Amitav Sinha, sir, Director of Finance, Jute Corporation of India. So, sir, providing the enlightening speech on scrap recycling and jute cultivation and its business cycle, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Next, I would like to thank our next guest of honor, that is Shri K.C. Shakdeepi, sir, providing an insightful on handloom and textile industry and how it is looped in with sustainable development goals. Thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. Thank you. Next, I would like to express my gratitude for our keynote speaker, Professor Ashish Agarwal. Sir has fully deep dive us into the world of sustainability, ESG criteria, sustainability and innovation, how they can go hand in hand. So thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. Thank you very much. Now I would like to take the opportunity to express my heartfelt thank for our patron, Dr. Professor Atmanand, for his motivating words and all his support and guidance for organizing the conference. So, sir, my heartfelt thank for your support. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to thank all the guests from various organizations who are present in this auspicious occasion with us, the people from press and media for joining us. So, thank you very much. So next set of my heartfelt gratitude will be to our advisory committee of the conference, our all session chairs, and our authors who have participated offline, who has come to our campus, to our beautiful campus, as well as who are joining online. So thank you all. I also provide my gratitude to our sponsors. So Jute Corporation of India, Punjab National Bank, Pearson and KPMG. So thank you all. I would also like to thank the participants of the Handicraft Fair and DIC for making this Handicraft Fair a success. Thank you all. Now our internal MDIM members, our all faculty members, our non-faculty members, our all support staff, and our dear students. Without your help, this conference would not be organized. So thank you all. So right now, I also thank my all co-conference chairs for their involvement and participation. So thank you, sir and madam. So right now, I am in the verge of the closure of the inaugural only, but the 2 days are ahead. So I wish from my heart, all my authors, very best for their 2 days ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bhikkhu ma'am. With this, we come to the conclusion of the inauguration ceremony. Now I would request Director Sir, our chief guest, all the dignitaries and authors to please proceed towards the reception area for a group photograph, and post that the handicraft fair, which is organized at the Boys Common Room, which will be followed by a tea break. Thank you so much.
Thank you.